Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm down at Hendrick BMW Northlake. We get to take a look at the all-new 2022 BMW i4 eDrive40. So huge shout out to them for providing this electric sedan for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. All that info is down in the description. The i4 that you see behind me is finished off in San Remo green metallic, and it has an MSRP just over $58,000. To start off today's review, we're going to take a look at what powers the all-new i4. So this has a single 83.9 lithium-ion battery pack. It's paired to a 1-speed transmission. It'll pump out 335 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque. It is rear-wheel drive. It weighs in right around 4,600 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds, up to its top speed of 118 miles per hour. And its MPGe is 109 in the city and 108 on the highway, with a total range of 300 miles. You can also charge this in 10 minutes with a level 1 charger and gain 102 miles, and with a level 2 home charger, it can completely charge in 8 hours. This has a wheelbase of 112.4 inches. Its overall length is 188.5. It has a width of 72.9 and a height of 57 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for the all-new i4, let's start off with the kidney design for the grille. So on this model here, you can see it has a really nice dark brush trim for the surround, as well as with all of the pieces that you see within the grille itself. There's plenty of cutouts in the lower section there to provide cooling to any of the front components, as well as a really nice design in the upper section. Now for all the electric BMWs, they do come with this blue ring surrounding the BMW badge. Really nice touch to see. This also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. And you can see the DRLs have a really nice half C-shaped design to them underneath the headlights and the high beams. The turn signal is all the way in the corner, and there's a really nice trim piece within that housing. They also have a really nice sleek design with all the bodywork surrounding them. You can see the upper section here, the line goes all the way down to the corner of the grille, and we have another one just underneath it, just to give it more of a sporty look. This also has functional air inlets on both sides of the bumper, so that will help direct airflow around the front tires. This also has forward-facing parking sensors. You can see those incorporated right in the middle, along with more of the contoured lines in the bottom of the bumper. Just adding to that look, there's very clean lines that run down the hood, meeting the top of that grille very nicely. And as we move on to the side, this has a set of 18-inch wheels. You can see the dark finish that they have along with the multi-spoke design. And this also has regenerative braking, which of course is very helpful for an electric vehicle. This even has a functional trim piece located just behind the front tire. So it'll work with the one in the bumper. All of that airflow can go right around the tires and exit that trim piece. You can see it extends in the lower section, just giving it a really nice contrast. This also has body colored side mirrors with the integrated turn signal. It features a sunroof as well. More brush trim surrounding the window trim just to tie it in nicely. And very nice lines run down the side profile. You can see one just underneath the height of the door handles there. And then in the rear, you can see that same blue ring with the backup camera nicely incorporated into that badge. All the parking sensors are right in the middle. You can see some trim pieces on both corners. This also has LED taillights as well, and some really nice lines in the lower diffuser. Obviously, being an electric vehicle, there is no exhaust, but it gives you that illusion just to add to that sporty design. And with the exterior wrapped up, we can take a look at that rear cargo area now. So you can use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath. If I hold on that, you will see the entire hatch open up, making this a very practical sedan. You can see a nice flat surface here for any items you'd like to place in. There's a cargo bin over on the driver's side, same with over on the passenger side here, along with a net. There's a 12-volt and a hook there, so you can place groceries as needed. And then up underneath the floor, you can see there's a lot of storage here. Even with the battery located in the rear of this vehicle, you have a deep compartment for any items you'd like to place there. Along with being able to fold down the back seats, you have this removable cover, so with those down and that out of the way, plenty more storage for any items you'd like to place in here. And then with the power liftgate, pushing the button on the right side will close and lock it. The one on the left will just close it. And with the exterior and the back wrapped up, let's move on to the back seats. And you'll notice when you approach the vehicle from the back, you can lock and unlock it, which is really nice to have. On the interior, you can see the cognac leather with the brushed aluminum trim. This has the interior ambient lighting. It also has the 10-speaker audio sound system. You can see a little bit of storage in the lower section of the door. And then on the interior, we can move on to more of that leather. Gives it a really nice combo against this exterior green. And at 5'10", it's time to work my way into these back seats. where it's a little bit snug, but it is definitely doable. You'll see behind both front seats, we have some storage nets for extra items. 2 air vents are right in the middle, along with the third climate control. You can see the temperature, where you'd like the air to go, and even 2 USB-Cs, so that way you can charge electronics. With the front seat set at my height, you can see I have a little bit of room for my knees and my feet, and I'm almost just up against the headliner, but it is doable for full-size adults. You could easily ride in these back seats. Right in the middle, you can pull down the armrest here, where you'll see there are 2 cup holders if you need to use those, and you can even fold down the middle seat by itself, as these have a 40-20-40 split if you need a little bit more room. And then with all these seats folded down, you can see from this angle here, you have a lot of interior storage if you need to use it. Also up in the roof, you can see the dome lights. And then before we move on to the front seats, this does have the convenience feature where it will lock and unlock depending on the distance you are from the vehicle. So as I back away, you can see it automatically lock. And then walking back up to it, of course, you can use that front door handle. You'll see these side mirrors automatically fold out. So that's really nice to have set up if you'd like it. And then we have the same door panel as you saw in the rear, with the addition of the memory seating adjustments, all of the window controls, and the power side mirrors. You can see the brushed aluminum and more of that interior lighting. The cargo release is down in the lower section of the door there. This also has BMW down on the door sill. And we can take another look at this beautiful color for the leather. You can see all the perforations, the side bolstering support. These are also automatic seats, so all those adjustments are down on the side, along with the exception for the manual adjustment to slide this forwards and backwards to give yourself a little bit more comfort. This has a low door sill, so it's easy to enter and exit these front seats. We have a large opening too, great position for that grab handle. And looking at this steering wheel, you'll see it's completely covered in solid black leather with some more brush trim on the lower section. You can see blue around that BMW badge. On this left side is all the cruise control settings. On the right side, you can see volume and tuning, as well as Bluetooth and voice commands. But let's start this up now and go through all these features on this massive screen. So with my foot on the brake, we have that blue button over on the right side, and we can bring this to life. And looking at this gauge cluster, you can see over on the left side is the miles per hour. On the right side is your power level. You can also see miles per hour right in the middle, which is configurable, as I'll show here soon. Over on the right side is your mileage until the battery needs to be charged, and on the left side is your percentage where it is currently at. There's also the outside temperature and a few other settings down in the lower section. But now moving on to the configurations of the screen. Over on the right side of the steering wheel, if you push on this center button, that is pretty much your menu button, where you'll see we have content, layout, and heads-up display, and you can go through that information using this rotary dial and then the arrows on both sides. So if I start out with content and scroll down, you can look at some data information right in the middle. You can also pull up your forward collision here, as well as the compass, and then you can even pull up the navigation so you can see that front and center. You can look at your music. If I go over to layout now and scroll up one, now you can see a little bit different of an angle. And if I scroll back over to content, now you can still view all that information. It's a little bit smaller right in the middle, but just a nice layout to have. And then the last one here gives you all that information in full screen. So it hides the miles per hour over on that left side. And now you can pull up the navigation in a larger view, go through your music, all that information. So it's nice to have that configurability. And then the last one is for the heads-up display. So right now you can see miles per hour and the speed limit sign, and then you can go through that and change it just depending on what you'd like to see. So there's standard view, directional view will pull up your compass, and then reduced view is just miles per hour and the speed limit sign. So really nice to have all that information front and center. This is also a heated steering wheel too, so you'll see that button down below. And then over on this left side, there's a small bin here if you'd like to put in any items. We have all the headlight and parking light adjustments along with a dimmer switch. There's also one air vent. And now as we work our way to the larger center screen, you can see how this is almost one continuous piece, giving it a really nice look for this interior. Now over on this left side, you can see menu, media, phone, and navigation. All of those are fixed, so they will always stay there to be able to go through all that information. You can currently see we have the navigation pulled up. You can look at music and phone. If I scroll over now, you can go through some more information, look at the weather. You have my BMW. This is also a curved screen too, so it's really nice to feel it as you go through all this information. It curves back up over on this right side, so it makes it really usable from the driver's seat. If you go into all of these apps, this has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and all of this various information, just depending on what you'd like to use. And then you can also use this screen with all of the the controls down below, just like any other BMW. So there's shortcuts to map and navigation along with home and media. You can see the rotary dial and a few buttons behind that. So it's nice just depending on how you'd like to use this screen. You can also get to the climates here. And we have the temperature, fan speed, heated seats too that you can turn on and off, as well as shortcuts to the temperature down below. So it's nice to have that as well. You can see wood trim just underneath that, along with the brushed aluminum, and 2 air vents are right in the middle. We have the power and volume knob along with tuning. You can see the rear and front defrosters and the hazards right in the middle. And then there's even more wood trim right in the middle. If I open this up, you can see the wireless charging pad as well as the BMW access card. You can use this instead of the key fob if you'd like to. This has a USB and a 12 volt along with 2 cup holders. And then moving on to the camera system, we're going to put this vehicle into reverse. So unlock is on this left side. I can push it forwards. That will pull up this camera system where you can see the guidelines as well as the sensors over on that right side. You can just pull up the parking sensors if you'd like to, but it's of course helpful to have that. We can go all the way down into drive and then pop it over into a B mode here if we'd like to. I'll talk about that more in the test drive. And then park is on the back side. Traction control and the parking sensors are on this left side here, which you can turn on and off. And if I push on sport mode, you'll see the entire TAC change. We also have comfort mode. You'll see it change again. And then eco is the last one. It will also change in the middle screen here. So you can go through all that information and configure it as you'd like to. This has the auto hold and the parking brake right in the middle. And you'll see there's a good amount of storage space in the center console with a USB-C. And then working our way to the glove box, you can see there's plenty of room for all that information as well. And like I mentioned earlier, we have the sunroof, so we have that adjustment for the automatic sunshade, as well as being able to open up the sunroof itself. You can see a call button, as well as the dome lights up top. So as we get this all new 2022 BMW i4 out on the road, this has been a really cool sedan to check out. It's pretty much like a 4 Series, and the fact that we have the hatchback design to make this a very practical vehicle, but at the same time too, it is fully electric, and it has a lot of technology on this interior as far as this center screen that you already saw. So it gives it a really cool look. And then being electric, obviously, we have a pretty decent range for this vehicle. And just giving it a slight acceleration there, even going the speed limit, this has a lot of torque instantly. So I would say it's a quick vehicle, even though it doesn't have a lot of horsepower and torque compared to some other vehicles. You step on it and it has that instant kind of low end torque in a sense. It's instant all the time, obviously, because it's electric, but it'll put you back in the seat though and get you up and moving. Now you can opt for the M50 version, so that gives you over 500 horsepower, more of an M3 competitor, even though it's still BMW, the electric version of an M3 in a sense. But with this i4, it's been a really cool vehicle to drive, very comfortable. We are in sport mode at the moment. And like I mentioned earlier, this does have the regenerative braking. Now, what I also mentioned earlier is being able to put the shifter over into B mode. So what I was able to find is that obviously this has the regenerative braking. When you put it over into the B mode, it basically makes it a little bit more aggressive, and you can do one pedal driving. So you don't even need to put your foot on the brake pedal. So I've let off the brake, and you can adjust this, but we are slowing down and it will come to a complete stop. Now I'm gonna get us moving here, but that is the one pedal braking, and with it being a little bit more aggressive. Now if I put it over into D mode, I haven't been able to find any settings within the center screen. I think you can adjust this, but we will come to a stop. It's just not as aggressive as B mode. So with the different settings that you can go through, you can configure that as needed. So it is nice to see that. Maybe if you're driving on back mountain roads or something and you're giving it a lot of gas, you want that regenerative braking system to work better, especially when you're coming up to some turns. Not only do you not have to put your foot on the brake, but it can help charge the batteries a little bit quicker. So if you want to do some sporty driving in this car, you can use the B mode and further help with that. So as we are on a back road right now, I'm not even touching the brake. Obviously, if you needed to, you could. Coming around this turn, we'll give it some gas or some throttle for the electric batteries there, and we're up to speed. It's kind of interesting. I always love driving electric vehicles because of the fact that there's no noise. So you give it gas, or what you would give it gas, give it throttle there, and there's no noise. I really like how intuitive electric cars are becoming and the technology that they're putting in them. With this BMW i4, I love the fact that it looks like you're in a normal BMW. Obviously, the screen is some new technology. It's not incorporated in all of the other models yet, but it just makes it feel like you're in a car. It doesn't have just a center screen or no tack or anything like that. It feels like a normal vehicle, aside from the fact that you need to plug it in when you get home. And then just as far as driving this, as I mentioned earlier, it's really comfortable, quiet. There's no road noise, wind noise. There's no engine noise, no exhaust noise. It's a comfortable cruising vehicle, especially if you're going to drive this every single day. And so now switching over to the POV angle, you can see what it's like to be behind the wheel of this all new BMW i4 and get another look at this massive screen. I like the fact too that they've pretty much divided it very nicely. Right here, there's a black space just behind where the steering wheel is, so you can still see the entire gauge cluster. You can see almost the entire corner over on this side. So it's very nice how they've divided that and made it look like it's one continuous screen. I don't know if the camera just saw, this does have the lane keeping assist, which automatically pops up. So if I start to go over the lane here, it will pop up there and let me know, obviously, that I need to stay centered. And we're gonna give it a quick acceleration here. And we are up to speed. Definitely very cool for electric vehicles because you have all of the torque all of the time. And it's very, very quiet. As far as visibility goes, over my right shoulder here, the pillar's not all that bulky. Over the left shoulder, you can see, of course, the window sticker is there. But over the right shoulder there, you can see around. We have the side mirrors, there's a second window, and the rear cargo area there. So it's definitely helpful. Pretty much no blind spots in this entire vehicle. And that's gonna wrap it up for this 2022 BMW i4. Once again, huge shout out to Hendrick BMW Northlake for providing this all electric vehicle for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. That link is down in the description. Give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button if you'd like to stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I'll see you in the next video.